On the air, live on the air on a Friday, because some of the other people that are a part of the community that have to use maybe the same space and the same wires and the same connections finally decided to get the heck out of the way. You're not the only ones around here. But I digress. You know, Beeve, just a little bit of unselfishness will go a long way sometimes, won't it? I'm in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes. That's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. What's up? Get on in here on this Friday. It's a little bit of a free-for-all Friday because, you know, it's kind of like the Monday. You come in and you're not really sure where to start. I know that's kind of how I feel about it on Friday because you got all these great high school matchups. You had the NFL game last night. It was a heck of a ball game. Cowboys and Eagles, defending champ Eagles last night. It was a heck of a ball game. And I'm not at all really surprised by the final result. Honestly, I think I was surprised by just how competitive it was. So, yeah, you got that. And, of course, college games today and then games to preview tomorrow. We've been previewing them all week, but it still kind of feels like we're in preview mode. And, you know, honestly, I think if we are honest about it, maybe you ought to get in a mode and start making some picks. You're right, like officially making some picks with the games that are coming up this weekend, so we can do that too. So just get on in here. However you want to be a part of the show, it'd be good with me. Hey to you out there, if you're on Facebook or YouTube or X, formerly Twitter, feel free to pop a comment in there. Just type it up. Pop it up on the screen. I can see it all in one column, everybody coming in at once. And then I can click it and pop it on the screen where we can all see it. So that's one way to be a part of the show. You can also text me on the Country Pleasing text line. The number to text is 885-3776, 601 number, 885-3776. Country Pleasing sausage on grocery store shelves all around the Southeast. It's the best sausage, hands down. Jalapeno and cheddar for breakfast. You can also call me on the Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company here in Mississippi. They've been fueling central Mississippi since 1960. You can pull in, put a little fuel in your vehicle, go into the junction there, run by the deli, get you some chicken, or a lot of other things, maybe a sausage dog, and put some fuel in your belly as well. And the number to call, 897-1059. That's a 601 number, 897-1059. So get on in here. My first text today on the Country Pleasing text line was from Grumpy, and he said, Matt, regarding last night's game, Dak's quarterback IQ and human being IQ was on full display. With the Jalen Carter spitting and then CeeDee Lamb drops, Dak showed who the mature adult was in the stadium. Hail State, Grumpy says, blow the Junction train whistle. You want to hear it? All right. There you go, Grumpy, just for you. Now, Grumpy, what do you think about this? Land Rebel texted in and said, I saw Dak spit first. And he did. He leaned in there and spit on the ground. Now, it was in the direction of Jalen Carter, but I would actually here's what I would say. So Dak spit on the ground. Does that justify getting spit on by Jalen Carter? One is a penalty, one's not. Right? Like, what is all this spitting stuff? What is that all about? Really, though, like when you just back up me and you, Land Rebel, like, I don't think you nor I it wouldn't even cross our mind, even in the heat of battle, to spit on each other. What is that? I mean, I got to say, it really is wild. But I digress. Ever since it happened last night, there's one person whom I've been wondering if he saw the spitting incident. And his name is Beaver. And he's the reason this show's on the air right now. Hey, Beav, happy Friday. Are you there? Are you busy right now? Can you talk? Okay, he's tied up. All right. We'll check in with Beav later. He's probably having to rearrange everything the way it's supposed to be. Yeah, Land Rebel said acting like my 2-year-old. The whole spitting thing. And say what you want. But it sure did work out to the Cowboys' advantage, didn't it? I mean, they didn't win the game, but you could argue that had that not happened and Jalen Carter had played, they'd have had no shot in that game. That's kind of what I was thinking. I mean, if you're Jalen Carter, you got to be smarter than that. It's like it's an all-time dumb move. All-time dumb move. Grumpy texted the show, country pleasing text line. He said, also, Jackson Academy is hosting Leak Academy tonight in football. And he wants to know, will the Oil Prince be in attendance? Grumpy's going to be watching on the Raider Network. Well, speak of the devil, over here on X, my man, the Prince from Neshoba County, Philip, he's a Cowboys fan, okay? And I mentioned it to you yesterday. There's a fine line for some Cowboys fans between calling it like it is and then just downright negativity. Like there's a fine line. And it's somewhere in there where Philip is most of the time, but sometimes he's pretty negative. And so he just commented on the live stream on X, and he said, I need a depression hotline to call. And then regarding spitting, here it is. Now, and we should clarify, he goes, I would spit on the whole city of Philadelphia. Premeditated spitting. Now, what he means is he means Pennsylvania. That's what he means. Not the real Philly. That's right. Not the real Philly. Nick texts the show, country pleasing text line. He says on the country pleasing text line, Land Rebel is like all other Ole Miss fans and still can't cope with the fact that Dak is a 10-year NFL vet while Chad Kelly, Bo Wallace, Tamu, and Matt Corral are all sitting at the house. Also, he says, tell Grumpy to enjoy watching Wilcox drop 350 yards on J.A.'s head tonight. How? Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Nick, bulletin board, man. Bulletin board material. Hey, Nick, Land Rebel responded to you with this. He said, just wait for my guy Jackson Dart. You know what? I was thinking that, aside from the major injury to the established veteran, there was a lot of similarities in Jackson Dart's first preseason in the NFL to Dak's first preseason in the NFL. You go back and look at it. There's a lot of similarities there. I think it's just a matter of time before Dart becomes the starter and hangs on to it for the Giants, and then, he's probably off and running there. And then like all those guys who, when they win the job, it'll be kind of about what kind of team they put around you and then how healthy you can stay over the years. I was looking at Dak last night. They talked about him being healthy and everything, but he had the lower leg deal, foot popped out of place and broke something, had to have that surgery and putting screws and pins in it a couple of years ago, whenever that was, recently. And then last year, the hamstring deal, and that supposedly healed up to do some procedure on the hamstring. And so when he takes off and runs, he just, they said he's as fast, or they said that he's as fast as he was, but he's not. You can tell. And some of it's probably age, but, wear and tear. That's the other thing, too, that's super underrated about those NFL quarterbacks that last a long time. Is the durability part of it. It's pretty incredible. Yeah, you know what, Nick? Okay, so like if you're looking at the live stream today on YouTube or Facebook or X, you know, I got a TV monitor, one of several. It's just that's the only one y'all can see. All the other monitors in here are behind the camera on the other side. That's the only one you can see. And used to have logos on it. We started like scrolling through YouTube and, you know, I'll find games and just let games roll on that monitor while I'm on the air here in the studio once we turned the cameras back on recently. And I don't know, I've been doing it for a month or more. And it's the first time that I thought to actually search for the Egg Bowl on YouTube. You know, every other day something would be suggested, some old game from the 80s or 70s. It'd be like Notre Dame and Michigan or whatever. I'd go click, just use that. But today I actually I searched Egg Bowl. Well, here's what I found, Nick. It's like the only Egg Bowls that you can find the whole game on YouTube, especially the older ones, are the ones that Ole Miss won. Ole Miss has had either a fan or somebody like go in and upload every old classic Egg Bowl that Ole Miss won from like the 70s or the 80s or something. And the ones that State won, nobody has ever put them there. No, they don't even exist on there. State needs to get its act together, or some fan does, get a hold of them and upload those old games. The Ole Miss got after. They uploaded all their wins. They didn't upload the losses. And there's a few more recent, but you can't go back in the day. I don't know if State didn't have them or, you know, if they burned up in a fire or what. I don't know. They're not out there. Biggin texts the show, Country Pleasing text line, says, "Hey, Prince, what happened to you boys?" Well, hey, look, okay, let me just give you a couple things. All right. First of all, you know, Cowboys offensively were a little more physical and a little better than I thought they would be. And I thought Dak played really well. And yeah, there were some late key drops, and they weren't just, there was one, you know, kind of iffy, but there was a couple that Dak just, you know, third and fourth downs, you walk out there and hand it to CeeDee Lamb, and he just dropped it, which you may watch all year and not see that again. That was unusual. But, you know, still had a chance to win it. The thing is, once you stopped trading punches and once the Eagles sort of took over and had the lead at halftime, I don't know, I just never felt like the Eagles weren't going to win the game. I don't know how you felt. It just never felt like it was going to be one of those where the Cowboys were going to have enough or find enough to overcome and actually win the game. They threatened like crazy. And then, you know, the defense started getting stops in the second half. I actually have to admit that last night the Cowboys, I think, looked better on both sides of the ball than I thought they would. And, you know, if you just catch one or two of those, if you're CeeDee Lamb, who knows what kind of finish you're looking at right there at the end. So I'm pretty impressed. Honestly, I didn't think the Cowboys were going to look that good. And we'll see what they do week to week. Did it also feel like, you know, it was strange? It was just a strange, weird game. The whole thing about it was weird. Okay, the injury on the first play, and then the spitting incident, they throw him out. That's weird. Okay, then the fact that neither team could stop each other. We didn't see a punter in the game until maybe what? At the very earliest, late second quarter. It might have been third quarter. You know, that was weird. And then it was weird that the Eagles would not throw the ball at A.J. Brown. I don't know what it was. Could not find a way to get him a pass attempt every now and then. Got him one at the end of the game. And the same thing kind of for Pickens for Dallas. Everything's going to tight end and CeeDee Lamb. They throw one ball to Pickens on a critical down late, and he made a great catch and looked awesome. And you think, why can't they get him involved? Same thing with the Eagles. Why can't they get A.J. Brown involved? I don't know. The whole game was just weird. Maybe it was just first game stuff. I don't know. Jake from Yazoo texts. He says, as a follow-up from earlier show, someone needs to load a confetti cannon with Country Pleasing and slam the Arizona State sideline. Show them that we've got food and good food. Show them, he says. You're going to fire sausage at them from a cannon? All right. All right, look here on Facebook. Rick on Facebook says, after the game, CeeDee Lamb admitted the game was on him for his drops. Yeah, and I saw that, you know. And, you know, it's like a couple of those. You catch them. You still got to go put the drive together and score at the end. And the Cowboys had already had one botched red zone trip, right? They get the targeting call, rightfully so. Or I think in the NFL, unnecessary roughness. They didn't call it targeting. But it gives them a first down. They turn around and fumble down there in the red zone going in. And so, I mean, there's no guarantee just because you catch it and get down there that you score. But, man, you sure had a chance. I'm just telling you, those were some fantastic throws by Dak Prescott. They really were some fantastic throws. Craig on YouTube says, Dak went 21 of 34 passing, 62%. Okay performance. Yeah. You know, one thing I enjoyed about it, yeah, you had a couple of close calls, but they were not. He started cutting it loose. They started cutting it loose, like taking some risks. It's always fun to watch when that happens. Let's see. Chance on Facebook said, "Where did you get that hat, Matt?" Okay, this one was given to us at one of the reunions we had for our teams. I think, what is this, 2025? When was the year that we? 23? Yeah, 23. So 2023, when Coach Sherrill came back, we had a reunion for the 98 team. They gave us all of these. And I think that might have been a game they wore the interlocking MSU. But anyway, that's what it was. They gave them to us for that. Rick said on Facebook, the worst part of the spitting incident was Carter walking past the line of scrimmage into the Dallas huddle that contributed to the ejection. Well, maybe so, but I mean, it was all because just official happened to be looking and he goes and just right onto Dak's jersey. Will says on YouTube, Dak played his heart out last night, Matt. Dropping dimes, slipping out of sacks, making score-saving tackles, baiting defenders into spitting on him. He did a little bit of everything, didn't he? Yeah, one of the better plays after that fumble is he goes in and tackles the guy. If he doesn't do that, it's 6 the other way. Grumpy said on the Country Pleasing text line, Matt, tell the Prince, Grumpy was encouraged by the play of Dallas overall. Grumpy not falling for whoever threw out the 350-yard tease. We will see. What is that all about? 350-yard tease. What is that? Nick, he said that lightning break for an hour and a half was so dumb. I've seen 7 and under softball girls play in worse weather. I had walked away at some point trying to stay awake. I walked away and missed whatever caused that. Land Rebel texted and said he had money on AJ getting a touchdown as well, so that's why they didn't throw it to him. The whole reverse jinx thing worked, huh? And that's how that works. Like if you want it to, if you want it to rain, wash your car, that sort of deal, right? And unnamed texter says, okay, he said I like Bama Dog's prediction for the State and Arizona State game. #Hail State. He predicted yesterday on this show 30 what? Doggone, I can't remember what. 31-28, something like that. He predicted State to win it. I do know that. I can't remember the exact score that he predicted. It was somewhere in that neighborhood. And he had Alabama beating Louisiana Monroe tomorrow 60-7. Like exercising all kinds of demons after the loss last week. We'll see if that happens. Well, look, anyway, here it is on a Friday. We're just getting started with you here on sort of a free-for-all Friday. High school games coming up tonight. I'm going to actually, I think, get to go out and watch one with Annabeth and Mary Lady and go out to her school and see what it looks like, sounds like out there. I think today's our hottest day we're going to have in a while. And then I know North Mississippi, we'll have a little front that comes through tonight. Maybe rain while we're asleep, rain in the morning when we wake up, and then all day tomorrow it's going to be nice and cool, or cooler, that is. And then another week, kind of like that false fall week we had recently. So we got weather to look forward to, but tonight it'll be hot. So high school football, college games, probably need to take a look at the schedule and see what college games we've got on TV. And we'll do that. And look ahead to tomorrow. Pick some games, tell me what you think. Who's going to do what? And just have a ball here together on a Friday in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. Stick around, please.
We'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's whole bean. And if you notice, That's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Orgeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. We got that. What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea, grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roasted right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more. Ah, tried and true. Magnolia Blend. High Point Roasters coffee, New Albany, Mississippi. It is the best. Single origin. All right, back with you. I'm Matt. In the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio, Farm Bureau Insurance, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance all across the great state of Mississippi. Your hometown heroes. That's your local Farm Bureau Insurance agents. I don't watch any of the pregame lead-up stuff. I generally try my best to time it right where the first thing I see is about the first play of a game. And once the game is in the bag, I'm gone. I got no reason to see handshakes or nothing like that. So I missed a pretty cool thing. You know, when Beaver comes on the show and I'm not in the same room with him, you know, I always have that music playing in the background from that show, Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I would have missed it if Beaver hadn't seen it and sent me a video clip, but Rob Mack, he used to be McElhaney, but Mack from the show Always Sunny in Philadelphia was actually like on the microphone in the stadium, bringing the Eagles into the stadium. Beaver, for you as a fan of sports and as a fan of that show, what was that like seeing that crossing of the streams right there on your TV?
It was just so random. It was real random. Like, okay, so what was happening at that very time? Someone had left me a message. So I had the TV on mute and I was listening to this message. As soon as I get done, I look up and I see there's Rob Mack. Yeah. It's already started. And I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And I had to rewind it. It just popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah. It's weird to see that. I don't know. Yeah, it was a weird crossing of the streams right there. Because when I think of the show, you think of Mac. Anything Eagles related for me, Beaver, I think of that sort of spoofy thing they did about the Eagles tryout we talked about recently. You know, and they had the guy impersonating Donovan McNabb, and that's kind of what I think of. And, you know, from a football standpoint. So it's kind of weird to see that. He was wearing a Saquon Barkley jersey. B, here's another question. Have you noticed that NFL fan culture is much more about wearing jerseys to games as you attend them as a fan than college? Have you noticed that?
You know, I haven't, but now that you mention it, it makes, yeah, I can think it does seem like that's the case.
I wonder, what do you chalk that up to if you had to chalk it up to something? You know, I wonder if it's just strictly a marketing thing, but it's like NFL fans, there's a way, way, way more of a percentage of them wearing jerseys in there to attend a game than you see at a college game. All right. Hey, Beav, the spitting incident. What's your take?
It's trash behavior from a trash person. Jalen Carter has been trash for years now. Remember that time that someone on Georgia's team died because he was street racing?
Yeah.
Okay. He's been an idiot from the beginning. Terrible decisions, nonstop terrible decisions, and this was yet another one.
Mm. You know, Beav, none of that matters if you're good at football.
No, not at all.
Right. What is your take, Beav? What's your response when someone says, yeah, well, Dak spit in his direction first?
Okay, now, from what I understand, there was spit, but they said he was spitting on the ground.
Yeah.
It was near him because that's what started it. According to Prescott, because he was talking about it, he spit on the ground, and Jalen Carter said to him, "Are you trying to spit on me, or why are you trying to spit on me?" And Dak said, "Why the blank would I need to spit at you?"
Yeah.
Which
is, yeah.
I'd believe Dak Prescott at that because he's always seemed like the exact opposite of Jalen Carter. He's always seemed calm. He doesn't get in trouble. It's in the NFL at least.
Yeah.
There was the beach incident at Mississippi State. That was a little trouble. But we don't see Dak Prescott really do any of this stuff in the NFL. So if we're to believe one or the other, I'm not going to believe Jalen Carter in this instance.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's kind of my take on it as well. And all-time dumb. Beef, think of all the dumb things you've seen happen in and around NFL games, NFL players, dumb this, dumb that.
Well, and let's just think let's think about that specific act. We've seen people do it for many a years. Bill Romanowski comes to mind immediately when you think about
right.
Someone spitting. But we've seen I've always thought, why that particular act? That is one of the most disgusting things I think you can do.
Yeah.
What kind of a human being spits on another one if you break it down and think of it that way?
Yep. Beaver, you have nailed it. Okay, you have talked this thing right down to the core. You've peeled all the layers of this onion back. You've gotten right down to the core issue in this whole thing. Beav, what is wrong with someone on the inside that in any circumstance would lead them to actually spit on another human being? You know what I'm saying? That's what you've gotten down to. And for me, okay, this whole spitting on the ground deal or in someone's direction or whatever. Okay, yeah, that's a little bit odd too. You go, what are you doing there? But it's not a penalty, and there's a reason doing that's not a penalty, nor will it ever be. It's a whole different animal to actually spit on a person. And anyone who will, in any situation, react that way and do that, there's something crazy going on inside their head. I know I can't even really find the right words to be as specific as I want to be. But do you agree? A person that will actually physically do that, hawk and then spit it on someone else, that person has major craziness going on inside their own head. You agree with that?
Yes.
I will never be able to understand it. I will never be able to understand it. Well, there we are. Hey, look, okay, so for everybody listening, we got to do this at some point. At some point, the page has got to get turned over to the games that we're going to watch in college football coming up. You got a whole list of Friday games. I'll give you those in a minute. But I don't want to get too far behind, too, because they got a lot of texts coming in on the Country Pleasing text line. So fire away there as well. And also, I'm going to backtrack here. I got to get Sven because he was the first to comment today on the YouTube live stream. Sven in Berlin, Germany. And he said, Hail State, everyone. What State needs to accomplish to win this ball game? Keep Levitt in the pocket. Take care of Jordan Tyson, the receiver, who's a first or second round pick in the draft. And then he said Arizona State has a strong front seven on defense and try to install a passing game. Protect Shapen. They'll light up the box, run the ball. He says if they're light in the box, that's what he means. He said that's how I see it. Take what they give you. 27-17 Bulldogs. Well, I'll tell you this. No doubt about it, Sven, keep away. State's got to play a very good game of keep away, keeping the ball away from Arizona State's offense. More on that in a bit. Let me jump over to the phone line, the Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company here in Mississippi. Junction delis all over the state. Winslow on line 1. What's up, Winslow?
Matt, how you doing, buddy?
Just right. Thanks for calling.
Good. You know, all this brouhaha over the food for the team, the Arizona State team.
Yeah.
People talking about steaks and seafood and all that stuff. But as a college football player, what was normally the setup when y'all went on road games? I mean, did you all go in a banquet hall and sit down and get fed, you know, on a plate, or did they give you box lunches or bags? Or
no, we had every road trip I've ever been on, including the ones I've gone with the team for many, many years on road trips, you know, staying in the team hotel. You would not believe the spread of food at these hotels. And it is, you know, most often it's kind of buffet style, but sometimes it's a little different, but you're talking pretty much a steady diet of grilled chicken, baked chicken, lots of pasta, spaghetti, lots of baked potatoes, steaks, stuff like that. And then huge breakfasts the day of games, bacon and eggs and all that kind of stuff. There's just no shortage of anything. I can't imagine. I know my experience being on the team at State, being with them on trips at State as a broadcaster. I've never anywhere else in my life in any arena seen as much food as you see on those road trips, Winslow. That's just the best way I know to
But it's
describe
not
it.
any kind of elaborate banquet facilities that you couldn't find a half a dozen out within reasonable distance of Starkville. Am I right?
Oh yeah, Lord have mercy. There is no shortage of good food options all around anywhere they're staying, whether it's Starkville, Tupelo, or Columbus. To insinuate that they have a hard time finding the right kind of food, that's asinine.
And then I guess what the coach was really talking about was
Winslow, hang on. The music has started and the music's about to cut you off. Hang right there. We'll be right back.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in, be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Whee! Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. The Junction Deli's, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state.
59.com.
All right, back with you. Let's finish up with Winslow over here on the Junction phone line. The Junction phone at 897-1059. What's up, Winslow? Thanks for hanging on. We got cut off there. I knew the music was going to pop in there as soon as you got going. So thanks for being patient. Take it away.
Yeah, I think the part that got misunderstood was that I think the coach was talking about, the meeting space requirements that they needed, but he threw in this thing about the casino, and of course got off on a tangent, and then the media ran with that. But if he had just simply said, we had to stay an hour and 15 minutes away to find a place that was not a casino, but and still met our meeting space requirements, then everybody would have just went there. But instead it turned into kind of a folly this week that everybody had a lot of amusement poking fun at. But it just sounded like that he got only incomplete information from maybe one of his staff members or something like that, and then just threw it out there, and then it turned into this big oops.
Well, and earlier in the week, I'm speculating, but I could absolutely see it going something like this, Winslow, is your ops person, whatever point they waited to finally make the arrangements for this trip, whether it was back during the summer or if it was whenever, probably realized that a lot of road teams stay in Tupelo because some of them will fly in there, and that way they're staying close to where they fly in that day. Sometimes too it has to do with hotel availability in Starkville with other events, and like this weekend you got a huge youth, I think, softball event going on that people have known about for a long time. And other road teams will stay sometimes in Columbus. And I guarantee it's like this. They realize that. They're kind of late booking it. They booked Tupelo. And he probably says, wait a minute. We're an hour and 15-minute drive from the stadium on game day? And their response was probably, yeah, the only other one was a casino. And they were probably talking about Philadelphia, which they don't want to stay in Philadelphia to play a game in Starkville. So, I'm sure that's what it was, and he took that, ran with it. It's probably all innocent all the way around. I do think it's blown out of proportion.
One of my concerns tomorrow night is, the hype has reached a fever pitch this week. So let's hope that everybody, is loud at the right times, and that, we we don't commit some cowbell infringements, because people are watching that, especially the detractors, and all they want is a gotcha moment.
Yeah.
See,
So
y'all
here's
hang
my
them
thing.
over the,
My thing is, who, other than the Southeastern Conference, who can penalize or do anything regarding the cowbells? That's what I was asking earlier this week. Since this is a non-conference game, does the same stuff apply? And I know that internally it has always applied about the whole ring responsibly thing, but I'm not so sure. We're not in an era right now where, you listen to your conference, and certainly conference games, but other than that, who's going to rule on anything right now?
One final question for you, and you're at all the games, home and on the road. I don't go to that many road games, but when I go to other stadiums, I look at how that is observed or complied with, the noise requirement. And a lot of times you find the road stadiums, either the band or the PA, and they are infringing on that as much or more than the cowbells are.
Yeah.
Is that something you noticed?
Yes. And by and large, everybody is obeying that rule about artificial noise once the opposing center gets over the football, Winslow, which is the same rule for the cowbells. And most places, they're usually abiding by that, with their PA address or the music they're playing in the stadium, because everybody does that. But yes, at the same time, you have some times where, they make a mistake, or they're late, or they kind of overdo it or overcook it. And generally everybody just goes, whatever, because it's not constant. It's not a constant thing. It's not that big of a hindrance. And so I'll say this. I know rules are rules, but the people over the years who have been the individuals who have thrown a hissy fit about cowbells ringing at Mississippi State, big whining, kicking, screaming crybabies. That's what you've dealt with, with the few individuals who wanted to make some sort of issue out of that. That's all it is. Big old whining crybabies. And usually they're adults at other places in position of power that have lived a life for an amount of time where they get used to having a certain amount of power, where they get what they want, when they want it, how they want it all the time. And if they don't, people like that in your life, where they get to a point where they get so used to that, to having what they want, the way they want it. When they say jump, people go how high, that anybody even not under their employ, they feel like they ought to have the same amount of power everywhere they go, and they're going to get what they want when they want. And if they don't, they're going to throw a fit. And that's generally what that has been over the years.
I just don't think the cowbells are that much more egregious in that area than anything else, be it a band or PA or whatever. I mean, they're all noise, and they're all complying to about the same degree, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I would agree with that. Winslow, appreciate you. Enjoy the game this weekend.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. That's why I asked this week. Non-conference game, Non-conference game. I don't know. Who knows? You may never play them again. I know you want to be a good host. Maybe there's certain things you agree to. But like in the SEC, if you're having a conference game, and if you are really not abiding by the ring responsibly deal when the opposing center gets over the ball sort of deal, the conference is what? Going to get on to you, fine you, get in trouble, and threaten to take them away. But what about this? I mean, is it really the same? I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I sure be. If I was sitting up there with a cowbell in my hand, I don't know that I'd be as worried about it. Please don't take that as Matt said you ought to go and ignore the rule. Please don't take it that way. All right, Anthony texted the show. He says, I want to see some payback. No scaraboo means we win. MSU 35-14 Hail State. Anthony, I'm just going to tell you right now, I will be shocked if State wins that game 35-14. And if they do, not only will I be shocked, it will be a major statement on lots of fronts if you see that kind of score in this game. And Anthony, I just hope that you and everybody, I love having expectations and showing up to the stadium with the expectation of winning and the heightened, anticipation of we may blow people out. That's great, awesome. Go ahead on with it. I love that. But the reality is, let me say it again. Please hear me. This could be, and in some ways I think probably is, one of the best teams State's going to play all year. There are some teams on that schedule who are very highly thought of, who are very good, that frankly aren't as good as this one coming in here tomorrow night. I'm telling you. Jared says on the Country Pleasing text line, Arizona State fans may be nice. I'm sure they are. I've been listening to their YouTube shows this morning, and the people that cover them are downright comical. They talk about the Devils like they are Georgia or Ohio State after one good season and way down on State because of a bad season. In the last 5 seasons, both teams have won 27 games, with State having much tougher schedules. Yeah, and it's a tougher road trip, too. Like, it's hard to go on the road. And so that brings it back to the median a little bit more. But what I think that's probably just Jared, look at it this way. We're living in an era where you have to really look long and hard, and you got to, I'm talking clear out the weeds and everything to find media, all right, who are balanced, grounded, and level-headed and truthful, and aren't just out here fishing for clicks, okay? You got to look long and hard. You no longer live in an era where media sees its job to lay things in front of you and let you decide on it. You live in an era now where all forms of media believe it is their job and responsibility to sway you. And if they're not swaying you, they can at least say smooth things to make you feel good, regardless of what team you root for. That's just realize that. All right. Hour 1 in the books. Hour 2 coming up. Lots of comments and texts to get to. I'm Matt. Beaver is here. All of us are here on a Friday in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Back after this.
It doesn't matter that business took...
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey y'all, Matt Wyatt here. Each week on the Mississippi Outdoors Podcast, we talk with the people who live it. Hunters, biologists, game wardens, local celebrities, and storytellers that know Mississippi better than anyone.
Those bass come up there and attack them. You know how mean bass can be there.
You're never going to believe this. Matt Wyatt just talked about your deer on the radio. I said, what did he say? He said, it was Photoshopped. And I said, what?
They don't know anything about hunting. They just have never had that right, that freedom.
Dude, that's us, man. That's what we do. So tune in, be inspired, and we'll see you outdoors.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. The Junction Deli's Convenience Redefined and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you've listened to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton. We say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they and other Junction Delis, they serve country pleasing sausage over there on the buffet? You don't get much better than that. The Junction and Prince Oil Company. That's what I'm talking about.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Yeah. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there.
At the Zone 1059.com.
All right, that means hour number 2 is off and running. And I do believe this is a good day because I have rationed my coffee in my thermos here just right. I think it's going to take me right on through the second hour of the show, just enough of hot coffee from High Point Roasters in New Albany, Mississippi. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good stuff right there. Yeah. Just the right temperature. Nearly boiling hot, but not quite. We are nearly at a boiling point here this week in this second week of college football, second week of high school football. So we got a lot on the docket here for hour 2. Lots of comments. Hey to you on YouTube, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter. I see all the comments here. We'll get to some of those. Your text messages. Jared, Cowboy Ready, Bama Fan, Real C, Scott, Jeremy, RT, Grumpy, Jason, Paramount, and more. Several other names coming up. All of that and more on the Country Pleasing text line. Find them on. You can go to countrypleasing.com and order it online. Why don't you try that? And also on the phone. Here we go. There you go. Blow that whistle. That's right. In comes the choo-choo. The Junction. Convenience redefined around the state of Mississippi. The Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company. They've been fueling central Mississippi since 1960. Putting fuel in your vehicle. Go in there to the Junction Deli, get you some chicken. Fuel in your stomach. Maybe it's a sausage dog or something like that. We head over to the Junction phone line on line 1. Ryan is hanging on. Thanks for calling, Ryan. What's up?
Hey, Matt, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, yeah. I haven't gotten to call in a while, so I just wanted to – I know you do Jake Mangum updates every now and then.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say I went to that Jake Mangum game a while back when he played at the Texas Rangers.
Okay.
And you would not believe how many State fans were there compared to Tampa Bay fans. It was wild. There were more State fans there than Tampa Bay fans.
How about that? Yeah, I'm not surprised.
And then I got one more thing. I got one request.
All right.
Today is my birthday, so I want to know if you can blare some Sonic Boom for me.
Wait a minute. Did you say today is your birthday?
Yes, sir.
Man, how many years young are you, if you don't mind me?
I'm the same age as Lou Holtz. When they invaded, at this age, Lou Holtz, they had just discovered America. So,
Okay. In other words, he's really old. Well, look, I don't know how old you are, but happy birthday. And just for you, here you go, little JSU Sonic Boom. Great request, and happy birthday, Ryan. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Matt.
And here goes, instead of happy birthday around here, we play the Sonic Boom. Here we go. Turn it up to 11. Roll the windows down. Turn a few heads. Text me, call me, comment. Coming to your comments in a minute here on YouTube and Facebook, and your text messages all coming up. Oh, man. There you go. Happy birthday, Ryan. Thanks for the request. Hank on Facebook is telling people how to sync up. The best way you can figure out to sync up your radio broadcast, you have to be listening to it online or something maybe, I don't know, with the TV broadcast, because that's popular these days, muting the television, trying to sync it up with radio broadcasters, because, generally your home team radio crews are doing a pretty responsible job, and there's not a lot of fluff and nonsense, generally. But certainly compared to what's being shoved down your throat on TV broadcasts these days. Anyway, Hank says pause it on the Hail State app. It usually is 30 seconds ahead of the TV stream for me. So what he's saying is, from a state perspective, you open up the Hail State app, you can go into on demand or live video audio, and there will be the broadcast. You can just click it and play. You'll be listening to the live broadcast, radio broadcast, if you're, out of range of a radio station. And he's saying that way, the stream, you can pause it and it'll give it about 30 seconds. It'll sync up with television or get pretty close. You kind of have to fiddle with it. I've done that before too. I've done it a lot with basketball, actually. Syncing up Neil and Coach Williams with the TV deal. And I got to tell you, it's better. I mean, it just is. And I my theory behind that is two things. It's two layers that make it better. One, home, the school broadcast, the people doing the broadcasting are more familiar with your team in terms of the players, the stories, their histories, kind of how all that plays into what you're seeing. So they're more familiar with the individuals. That's one thing. And then two, the radio deal, it's like we as radio people, we know either consciously, subconsciously, that we are not being seen. This is not a visual for us. And so I think for radio people, we take it as less of a, this is my time to shine deal. We're not out here in a fancy tie, in a pocket square that is a completely useless piece of cloth. They wouldn't wipe their nose with it to save their life because it costs $70. Now, how stupid is that? And so they doll up like clowns. And so it's almost like they get out there and they think, okay, this is about me. I mean, we got a game. Yeah, sure. These guys have practiced real hard. But, man, this is my time to entertain you. You're here for me to entertain you for 2 or 3 hours. TV, it just kind of feeds that mentality. Look, you forget the fact that, no, the only people that are hitting play or turning over this channel, I want to see them. Players, coaches. I don't care about you. Shut up. Get off. I want to see that. I don't care what you're wearing. I don't care what you ate last night. 90% of the people watching a game, that's their sentiment for the announcers. Shut up. Number one. 2, educate me when you know something I don't. Otherwise, shut up. 3, I don't really need to see you. I came to see them. Okay? The quarterbacks, receivers. Yeah, and maybe the coaches. You have a time where you need to put something on TV because they're having a timeout. Let me see the cheerleaders. I don't want to see you. And I just think TV just kind of, for whatever reason, like it feeds the wrong ideas into those people's heads. Radio's a lot less of that because we know we're not being seen. I think that anyway, that's my theory. So that'd be one way to sync it all up. All right. Cowboy Reddy texted the show on the Country Pleasing text line. He says, what do you guys think about the Dak and Carter situation? We kind of covered it earlier. Carter way out of line. It's just asinine. Anybody who will spit on another person has got something very, 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 very wrong with them inside their head. Bama fan says, how would Jackie Sherrill have handled the Jalen Carter situation? Well, I can't say specifically, I don't know for sure, but I do know this, Bama fan. I would have wanted to be there to watch the post-practice punishment. Now, I would not have wanted to stick around long enough to have to clean up after it. I would have wanted to watch some of it. Real C says, massive breaking news. Bluebell has released their new pecan pie ice cream. Ain't nobody supposed to be pulling for the Devils, he says, Hail State. Yeah, we saw that and actually got a picture of it yesterday. Real C, if you get your hands on it, let me know what you think. I want some. Scott from Philly texted us. He said, this is Scott. Gotcha. From Philly. He says, what is wrong with Philadelphia? LOL. Says, we'll be in Stark Vegas tomorrow night ringing our cowbells. Well, ring them till your heart's content. Jeremy texted and said, Matt, my YouTube algorithm has Arizona State coaches' videos popping up, and I saw that Hines Ward is the Arizona State wide receiver coach. So not only are they talented, but they're pretty tough too if he's coaching them. Yeah, that is cool. That is cool. You talk about a great, great, great player that not many people still talk about these days, but Hines Ward, and could do anything. Could have played like any position, it seemed like, and did half the time. And kind of an all-around great guy, too, by all accounts. Okay, Anthony texted in earlier, and he said State's going to win 37-14 or something like that. And I said, I'll be shocked if State wins it, which they might. But if it's a score like that, I will be absolutely shocked. This Arizona State team is one of the best, most talented teams that's going to come in that State's going to play this year. I'm just telling you, running backs, big time. Quarterback, big time. Receiver, big time. They are big time rested, too. They had 2 or 3 guys that didn't even hardly play last week because they didn't have to on offense. Back into their defense, fast, physical. They're good. And so on that, RT texted in and said, somebody needs to check on Anthony. Grumpy texted and said, let's hope you are shocked. I want to be shocked, Grumpy. I will be. I'll be, if State wins 34-17, like he said, I will be as shocked as I was leaving that 2022 Auburn comeback when Will Rogers and Mike Leach were behind 28-3 in the second quarter, late second quarter, and scored 40-something unanswered points and won the game. That's how shocked I'll be, as I was when I walked away from that one. On the road at Auburn. Jason in Flagstaff, Arizona says, it really breaks my heart hearing people projecting a State win who clearly know absolutely nothing about Arizona State. He says, and then he said, you hide somewhere and watch. If State loses this game, people who knew nothing about Arizona State other than they're not an SEC team will be calling to fire this guy and bench that guy. Yeah. Unfortunately, it's true. Look, I'm just telling you, you can watch film and see the State's got its hands completely full in this one. Their running backs are really underrated. One of them was a guy that was hurt last year a good bit, who was a 5-star type athlete coming out of high school, like he went to USC or whatever. Well, he's healthy, and he's the one, if you go watch the study I did of their first game, he had that run where he's 9 yards from the line of scrimmage in traffic, running north and south, linebackers and safeties all over the place, and he hurdles a guy. There's a guy coming in from the side. He up in the air, hurdles him, hits the ground, runs through contact, drags 4 people for 5 yards. Quarterback can fly. Big-time talent. Arguably top receiver prospect in the country. First game, their number 2, number 3 wide receivers, they really didn't even use them that much. And tight end really didn't get used that much either. Paramount Outdoor Living texted the show and said, Arizona State doesn't stand a chance with no sleep, starving to death, migraine headaches. If we still had the visitor locker room Coach Leach described back in the day, yeah, just a toilet in the middle of the room with one roll of toilet paper and that's it, and 16 penny nails driven into the wall for you to hang your stuff on. Starving to death, can't sleep, no hotels. They don't stand a chance, do they? Oh, the internet. Dog Tired in Florence says, what does JSU have to do to win tomorrow? TC Taylor is a better coach than most give him credit for. Well, the biggest thing they have to do is keep their quarterback upright from getting hit. You know what I mean? And he's a good player, and they've got to be able to throw it some to sort of just facilitate their run game. They're not going to be able to run for the kind of yards they did against Hampton, obviously. And so you gotta keep your quarterback from getting hit, where he can stand in there and deliver the ball and keep you in the ball game, maybe win it in the fourth quarter. But I think Jackson State's defense is going to have a hard time with that quarterback at Southern Miss, Braylon Braxton. He's the real deal, my humble opinion. All right, more texts, more comments to get to. Right now, back over to the phone. We'll go to the Junction phone line. The Junction phone line, fueled by Prince Oil Company. On line 1, it's Joey. Joey, thanks for calling. What's up?
Hey, Matt, I feel like going into the game, Mississippi State does not have to do anything other than what they did last year and improve upon it.
Okay.
Arizona State's got to find 300 yards of offense because Scatterboo is in the NFL now.
Okay. Well, I mean, there's something to the idea that
that's not easy to replace.
No, it's not. And there's something to the idea that, this year as a team, they're going to have to win games a little differently than they did last year with him. But I will tell you this, Joey, I think they have at least one running back and maybe two who are they're different than he was, but they're both just as good as he is. That's my opinion.
Well, we'll see how that works out. And I was thinking too, he can just go ahead and prepare for Tupelo to win that state championship, and the shirtless Grizzly dude. Needs more cowbell. And I tell you what we need on this show, Matt.
What's that?
We need more prom queen. I'm just putting it out there.
All right. She's not here right now, but if she wanders by, I'll get her in here in a minute.
She makes the show better.
I agree with that.
And we equally hate Missouri, so she's in my corner on that.
Hell yeah. She's with you on that now, for sure. Thanks, Joey.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yeah, appreciate the call. Yeah, she does. I would say that it's not that she hates Missouri, it's that she hates the idea that they let them in the SEC. That's my wife, the homecoming queen I'm talking about. She hates that idea. All right, keeping it on the phone. Choo-choo, over to line 2. Jason in Flagstaff, Arizona on the Junction phone line. What's up, Jason?
Not nothing much. You hear me all right?
Yep, loud and clear. Is that what it sounds like on your end? It sounds better here,
Yeah.
I promise.
Yeah. Oh, I know it sounds better on the radio. I called. You were talking about the guys that Arizona State held out.
Yeah.
Well, 2 of them are their biggest transfers.
Okay.
And I can't remember the guy's name. The running back from Army that averaged over 6 yards a carry for 2 years up there at Army, with everybody in the world knowing that the run is coming, still averaged 6 yards a carry up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's that guy. And the wide receiver they got from Alabama, you remember me telling you I was sick to death of hearing about Arizona State last year or yesterday?
Yes.
A lot of the stuff I was hearing was about him. It was coming out of their camps about the transfer from Alabama was a 4-star guy, and apparently they're just going to bring him in to catch 70-yard touchdown passes because he's so fast.
Okay. Was he
and they held him out last week.
Oh, he didn't play at all last week, you're saying?
Nope.
Uh-huh.
Didn't play at all. So
Okay.
they're doing a little bit of the Spurrier thing last week, I think, holding a couple of key guys out and kind of sandbagging a bit.
Huh. Yeah. Okay.
But I said all that to say this. If State magically wins this game, I don't want to hear crap from anybody about Arizona State being overrated. What I want to hear from people is how much better State is than anybody thought they were going to be.
Yeah.
That's what the narrative ought to be.
I agree, Jason. And look, regardless of the outcome, and I'm not trying to provide a nice soft landing pad for everybody if this thing falls apart tomorrow, but I'm just being realistic with what we know and what it looks like on film to me. If State has a chance to win it, if they're competitive enough where it's fourth quarter game and you got a chance to beat these guys, even if you come up short, I'm going to come away impressed with where State is.
I absolutely agree with you. This team is, and I know people back home don't want to hear me, but it's been right up my nose all year that they got a lot better as the year went on last year.
Mm-hmm.
And as good as Scatterboo was, they kind of had to use him like that with their quarterback crippled. I'm scared, Matt. Why?
Well, look, it's just football. That's, but I know what you mean. It's just football. But
Yeah,
they're good.
I'm going to
They're a
have
good
all
team.
my fingers and toes crossed and knocking on all the wood in the house. I hope State wins, but, man, I don't see it.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
This is a good team.
Well, and here's the deal. You know, if State's got a kicker who, if they can get him across the 50, it starts to get interesting. You know, you're not playing NFL football. In the NFL, like a field goal is like a touchdown anyway. But you know, you got a guy who you can get him in range pretty quickly. And so if you're just protecting the ball and executing enough to stay on the field some offensively, you know, you get on the board early and get your fan base into it and that sort of thing. You know, you can find a way to hang around, shorten the game. And that's why I was saying earlier, playing keep away. That's why I have this big red circle drawn around State's offensive line in this game, because they are the one group that's got to show the most improvement from week 1 to week 2 to me. And it's important because State's got to stay on the field and play keep away. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking. Jason, it's great to hear from you.
All right.
Call
Bye-bye.
me anytime. So what are we doing? You want me to pump you up just so that we feel good about it before kickoff, or you want reality? It's a good team. State's going to have to, play the best game that it's played in a long time, in a couple of years, in order to have a chance to hang in there and maybe win this thing. It's a good team coming in. All right. Rolling along with you, what we'll do next is take a look at the schedule. I'll tell you what I think. You tell me what you think. Back after this in the Bureau. Stick around.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in all 82 counties in this entire state. And if anything does arise and you need to, run it up the chain or up the flagpole, the home offices for Farm Bureau Insurance are in Jackson, Mississippi. It's right here in the state of Mississippi. It doesn't get more local than and personal, the service that you get with Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. I can't recommend them highly enough. And if you haven't, recently, let them give you a quote. Home, life, auto. It's Farm Bureau Insurance. Go with the home team.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Well, look at what we have here. Christmas come early. Boom. Little green onion country pleasing. That's not all. Little original smoked sausage flavor. That's not all. Jalapeno and cheddar. It has to be one of my favorite, just judging by how much of that stuff I eat. Oh, can't forget. Andouille. Don't be saying andouille, it's andouille. And last, but not least, pork and pineapple. Bun size, 3 links, bun size. Look at that right there. Be careful. Come on with it. It's mine. Come here, jalapeno. Oh, that's all mine. Country pleasing sausage. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C-Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C-Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C-Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C-Spire.
Y'all like coffee? I know you do. Check it out. Little High Point Roasters from New Albany, Mississippi. That is the breakfast blend. It's a whole bean. And if you notice, that's how much I've had already. Brazil Oberon. Not Orgeron or Orgeron, you LSU. No, Brazil Oberon. That ain't all. What we got there? What flavor is that? Papua New Guinea, grade AA. Bring it on. High Point Roasters, New Albany, Mississippi. Roast it right there. That's whole bean. One more. I got more. Ah, tried and true. Magnolia blend.
At the Zone 1059.com.
Back with you, I'm Matt. I thought this was really interesting here on YouTube. JS290, he said, against a stronger opponent, the weaker one needs volatility. Coach Leach understood this. Otherwise, the better team would just be better at everything. Yeah. And then, like, what do you file under volatility? But, we've heard over the years, too, you need to kind of make it ugly the game up, keep it from getting into a real flow. Play keep away on offense and stuff like that. But I think that's true. When teams are maybe a little faster. That's another thing, too. I think State's a much improved team athletically, physically, and team speed kind of overall has improved. But this is a really fast Arizona State team. Offense, defense. It's a really fast team. That's another thing that I think, another area where I think they probably have an advantage is like overall team speed. But, State did improve it. When you look at offensively, a couple of the guys on the outside, Thompson and Evans, they can run with anybody in the country. And then it's sort of a double up because Evans is doing some returning for you. So if you get a return opportunity, he can make things happen there also. Let's see. Bama fan texted. He said, is the game in Starkville sold out? I don't think it is sold out. I don't know. Last I heard, I would get the impression that not quite sold out, but I think they're expecting it mostly full. Then Bama fan also said, Matt, I think the 7-point difference that I came up with was home field advantage as Arizona State playing on the road. I think State will win it because they're at home. Yeah, well, and then maybe the crowd plays a factor. Maybe it does. I don't think weather is going to play a factor. I told you yesterday, North Mississippi was looking at really hot temperatures today. Some sort of front coming in overnight tonight, in the morning, bringing some rain. And then really cooling off tomorrow. And everything I'm seeing, it shows it getting cooler and cooler and cooler. No joke. What's today? Friday? At the beginning of the week, if we went to Monday, they were projecting the high temperature in Starkville on Saturday was going to be 81 degrees with rain chances more so in the morning. Then, if you looked on Wednesday, it said, no, Saturday the high is going to be 77 in Starkville with rain chances in the morning. Now, you look at it, it's saying the high temperature tomorrow in Starkville is 72 degrees. Rain chances in the morning. And tomorrow night, overnight, getting down to 58 degrees, 5-8. It's ridiculous. It's going to be so nice. Let me see here. Hold on. Tomorrow at 6, so It's saying that in North Mississippi tomorrow morning when you wake up, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 60% chance, 70% chance of rain. That hangs around about 50% about 9 a.m., and then it drops off. And throughout the day, it just gets less and less and less. And it's actually right now not showing any rain in the forecast for kickoff, but saying that game's going to kick off at 6, says it's going to be 72 degrees, 8 p.m., 68. Time the game's over, it'll be 65. Shoot, man, it's nice. It's going to be really nice. Maybe, just maybe. Dog Tired in Florence says, Hines Ward is probably one of the best players in the NFL. He can play quarterback, running back, DB, punt returner, and obviously receiver. Andre from Jackson said, Beavers 49ers 37, Seattle 21. Book it, he said. Hill Dog, he got a hold of some of those soft-baked Nutty Buddy cream pies. He liked them. The one I had that Beaver gave me a while back, I liked it too. I sure did. No, Jared said, don't go building a fire in the press box. No, I won't do it. I know better. Can't be smoking up there, nothing like that. Only person that can get away with that was Mr. Crystal. And I'm not going to let anybody else do it. All right, so here we go. Schedule. Let's take a look. College football tonight, you have 4 games, all on television. ESPN2, 6 p.m., you get Louisville hosting James Madison. Big Ten Network, Northwestern hosting Western Illinois. Later on the Big Ten Network, you get Maryland hosting Northern Illinois. And then tonight on FS1 late, it's Boise hosting Eastern Washington. And so those are your Friday games on TV. Hey, before I forget, everybody listen up. Seeing the Big Ten Network there reminded me, listen up. If you enjoy the film studies type of content, whether it's the ones I do or anybody else, you like that, where you're watching someone who knows a little bit about X's and O's, or in this case, I'm about to tell you somebody who knows a lot about them, drawing it up for you, you really need to click the link that I shared last night on both X, formerly Twitter, and on Facebook. It is Big Ten Network stuff. It's a YouTube link. But on the Big Ten Network, they had former LSU coach Jerry DiNardo hosting Urban Meyer, and Urban Meyer was describing how Ohio State confused Arch Manning. And then he gave you 2 plays of examples and film studied it and drew it up for you to show you how Ohio State was confusing Arch Manning during that game with their coverage. And it is smart, and it is great, and it is fascinating and educating all at the same time. So if you like that kind of stuff, you could search for it. Big Ten Network, Urban Meyer, how Ohio State confused Arch Manning. But I sent the links out last night. And I'm just telling you, you talk about eye-opening. And it's really good. And the other thing it shows you is when you see stuff like that coming out of the Big Ten Network, it just reminds you, frankly, how crappy most of the content is that comes out of our network. But I digress. The Jackson State Southern Miss game is going to be on the Plus, and they'll kick off at 4 p.m. tomorrow in Hattiesburg. Braylon Braxton was 1 yard shy of 200 yards passing last week. 2 touchdowns, did have the 1 interception. He was not an interception thrower last year. He was 19-2 in touchdown interception ratio. The Arizona State Mississippi State game is at 6:30. They are putting it on acronym 2, on the acronym 2, on the Deuce. Okay. Elsewhere around the SEC, 11 a.m. tomorrow is Texas and San Jose State on ABC. 11:45 on the network, you get A&M hosting Utah State. 2:30 on the Plus, you get Georgia hosting Austin Peay. 2:30 on ABC, you get Kentucky hosting Ole Miss. 2:30 on the Plus, you get Tennessee hosting East Tennessee State. 2:30 on the Deuce, you get Missouri hosting Kansas. A little border war going on there. That'd be a good ball game, potentially a good ball game there. Former Bulldog receiver Corey, what was his name? I've forgotten his name. He played 1 year last year at State. He was really good. Transferred to State from Louisville. Now he's at Missouri. What's his last name? Corey what? Why can't I remember? 4 o'clock on the Plus, you can watch Arkansas and Arkansas State. 6 p.m. on the Plus, you can watch South Carolina and South Carolina State. 6:30 on the Plus, LSU and La Tech. And then the big one tomorrow night, 6:30 ABC, it's Oklahoma and Michigan. Oh, that's it, Sven. You're right. It wasn't Corey anything. It's Kevin Coleman. That's him. So Kevin Coleman is playing this year at Missouri. Really good player. He was at State last year. I couldn't remember his name. 6:30 on the Ute. It'll be Auburn hosting Ball State. 6:30 on the ACC network. For those on a mountaintop with an antenna, you can get the ACC network and you can watch Virginia Tech host Vandy. And the nightcap, 6:45, SEC network in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The Crimson Tide 0-1 hosting Louisiana Monroe. Bama, 38.5-point favorites. Wow. There's not just a whole ton of great games. I mean, you got a few sprinkled in there that are pretty interesting. Other top 25s tomorrow, 11 a.m. on the Big Ten Network. Penn State hosts Florida International. 11 a.m. on the acronym right after game day. It'll be Brett Bielema and the Fighting Illinois at Duke. Florida State's going to host East Texas A&M, who we learned about yesterday was the second school of choice for MSU Bulldog 98. State grad 98, sorry. Baylor goes to SMU tomorrow. Texas Tech will host Kent State. Ohio State, tomorrow 2:30 on the Big Ten Network, is hosting Grambling. Clemson and Troy, that's tomorrow afternoon. Any others? That'll about do it. Oh, LSU and Louisiana Tech. Did I mention that one? It's on ESPN Plus at 6:30. All right, we're going to wrap things up the right way. We're going to wrap the week up the right way. When we come back, we're going to put our nose in the Bible, have some Bible questions with Terry Fant, who's out and about. That's coming up. Stick around.
This is Jake Mangum, former Mississippi State Bulldog.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
The Junction Deli's, convenience redefined, and Prince Oil Company, a match made in heaven. The Junction Deli, fueled by Prince Oil Company. Prince Oil Company has been fueling Central Mississippi since 1960. It's a pretty good little while. Wonderful people. Man, am I ever more tickled that they're a part of the show and I'm a part of their team now. As you know, if you listen to the radio show, I've been to the Junction in several different places around the state. I've bought gas just like you at a lot of places that are fueled by Prince Oil Company, and they are really wonderful people. By the way, that brand spanking new Junction Deli, Chevron, right across the highway from Germantown High School. It's in Canton. We say Gluckstadt. Do you realize they and other Junction Delis, they serve country pleasing sausage over there on the buffet? They don't get much better than that. The Junction and Prince Oil Company. That's what I'm talking about. We'll be right back after this message from C Spire. My name is Matt Wyatt. I host the Matt Wyatt radio show out of my home using C Spire fiber.
And when we hit the road as a family, Matt's show goes with us, thanks to C Spire Wireless.
Its ultra-reliable nationwide network lets me broadcast live from anywhere.
And never miss a moment that matters.
Connecting you to what inspires you most on C Spire's blazing fast 5G network. And right now, get your choice of free phone. That's customer inspired. That's C Spire.
Welcome to my photography studio downtown Tupelo. Everybody needs a headshot, especially if you're in the professional world, in sales, any sort of customer related business, outreach business, anything like that. Everybody needs a headshot. Here at my photography studio in Tupelo, we do a lot more than just headshots, but we're kind of focusing on headshots for that very reason, because everybody needs it. Let me show you a little something about it. One thing I'm able to do here is sort of have 2 to 3 different looks in a small space that we can do in a short amount of time. Several different looks and styles of lighting with studio equipment, studio lighting. Some with flash and a particular look that I've worked on, a constant lighting scenario where you sit down, the lights are already on, you lean in, and we kind of illuminate the whole face. And we get several options in the studio in a short amount of time. Here's 2 priorities for me when I shoot headshots. One is it has to look like you. Okay, none of this fake stuff. The other goal is it's got to look like you at your best. And that's my job as a photographer. And I've got a lot of experience over the years, and I feel really confident I can do that for you. I would love to schedule a session for you here at the studio in downtown Tupelo. I'm above the Reed's Gift Shop, just off of Troy Street, the corner of Troy and Spring. If you can't get to Tupelo, that's okay. Let's talk about it, because we can pack the studio up and come to you if the schedules fit and that sort of thing. I'd love to help you with your headshots. I think everybody needs them. I'm inviting you to please email me, reach out. You can go to my website, mattwyattmedia.com, email address matt@mattwyattmedia.com, and let's talk about your headshot. Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi, local agents in all 82 counties. So here's what that means. You have that fender bender, hopefully you don't, but let's say you do at an odd time. Something goes on. It's Saturday night at 11 p.m. You don't have to wait until Monday morning to call some 800 number and talk to someone 3 states away. You've got your agent's phone number right there on your phone because you go to church with him. Your kids go to school together. He lives right down the road. You see each other at the ball games on Friday nights. So it's personal with your local Farm Bureau insurance agent in. Beav, I got it. I got it, Beav. Thanks for letting me know. Back with you. A little bit of time left here to wrap up the week. I'm Matt in the Bureau, the Farm Bureau Insurance Studio. Farm Bureau, go! With the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance. So I mentioned a minute ago that we're going to wrap things up the right way, wrap the week up the right way. We're going to hear the train coming through on the Junction phone line. It is my friend from Hickory Ridge Baptist Church in Florence, Mississippi, but I think he's a long way from Florence, Mississippi right now. Terry Fant on your radio. Terry, is that accurate? You're a long way from Florence today.
Matt, you nailed it. I'm a few miles from Florence, Mississippi today. That is for certain.
Well, can we tell somebody where you are?
Yes, I am actually enjoying a purpose-driven tours trip to the Foundation of America and the biblical heritage of this great nation.
Very cool.
I'm in Boston, Massachusetts currently.
Boston, Massachusetts. All right. Watch out for the Red Sox fans and the Patriots fans and all those folks, though, while you're up there. Well, that's cool. Thanks for giving us a little bit of time to discuss something with you and get a little guidance on what the Bible says about this. All right, so you and I were talking earlier, and in Mark chapter 15, so we're in the New Testament, one of the Gospels, in Mark chapter 15, here is Jesus talking, and Terry, am I right? He's doing here in the middle portion of this chapter what he did a lot, which is he spoke in parables or in I'm sorry, not Mark, Luke chapter 15. I said Mark, it's Luke chapter 15. But Jesus is talking and he's doing what he did is he's kind of talked in stories. He told stories and parables about what we know as the prodigal son. Do I have that right?
You do. That's what most people call it, the parable of the prodigal son.
Okay, so why do you say that's what most people call it? Because that's the only thing I've ever heard it called.
You could tell I was alluding to something there, couldn't you?
Yes.
You know, it's interesting to me how sometimes we can reference and frame things up incorrectly in our mind. Like we call it the parable of the prodigal son, but think about it. Just this logical thinking. You have three characters in the parable. You have the father. You have two sons. Why would you name it after the one son? And so he's not the hero of the story. The hero of the parable is the loving father who loves both sons, one prodigal, one prideful.
Okay, so, and let's get back to that. The story itself, if we have anybody listening, Terry, who hasn't heard the story from Luke chapter 15, the story of what we know as the prodigal son, kind of give us the cliff notes on what that story is about.
Okay, quickly, the audience, he's speaking to a Jewish audience, specifically Pharisees, who thought they had arrived by their own righteousness. And this is called the lost chapter, so he deals with several lost items.
Okay.
This one deals with the son who's gone away. And so there's a father whose son has come to him and told him that he wants all of his inheritance. He doesn't care about the father's protection and provision and presence. He just wants the money. And so the father gives it to him, and give you cliff notes. He takes it to a far country, and what the scripture refers to as prodigal living. And the prodigal living is, the simple word prodigal means wasteful. It means to waste the resources that you're given.
Okay.
And then he comes home, finds himself at the end of himself. He comes home to the father who lovingly meets him, receives him back to himself. I'll give you the quick version. We can get a little more detail as we go along. And then there's another brother who's been there the whole time, who gets a little prideful and bitter at the restoration and grace shown to the other brother in the end.
So two sons, one says to the dad, I want my inheritance, I'm out of here. Dad gives it to him. He goes and is wasteful. That's what prodigal means. Other son stays. And when the one who was wasteful comes home and the father restores him and welcomes him home, now the one who stayed is jealous. Do I have it?
That's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, and back to what you said earlier. So we name this whole story after the one who's like, he's kind of learned this lesson. He's wasteful. He's prodigal. But he comes home and he's restored. And we name it after him. We don't mention the other son. And we kind of make the lesson about the son. But you're saying the lesson is actually about the father.
Yes. And there's a lesson in all of it, of course. When we live prodigally and wastefully, there's a God who's waiting for us to come home and enjoy his presence and not just what he had. The lesson, though, for the crowd he was speaking to, they related most to the older prideful son who thought themselves to be the people of God by lineage, by being Abraham's seed. And they were, angry because Gentiles and Jew alike would be allowed into the family by the grace of God through Jesus' death and resurrection.
Wow. So it's deeper than we think, isn't it?
Oh, man, so much. We love to consider that prodigal child because I think we've all been there at times, haven't we?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
We wake up in that far country and we think about this. What's the provision? Parable is an earthly story that has heavenly meaning. And so if we're relating in our own lives, what are the great resources of God that we've wasted? Well, life itself is a gift from God, isn't it?
Sure. Absolutely.
Then we have the resource of Christ's death and resurrection, the resource of the Holy Spirit, the Bible, the church. Think about how I've wasted those things in my own life. Man.
So what you're saying
It doesn't have to just be drug and alcohol related.
Right. And what you're saying too is that in that way, all of us can relate to this son who took his inheritance and went off and wasted it.
That's right. And then to think about, the story, the picture of the father, it says when he returns home, he's got this big speech ready. He's going to confess to his daddy all that he's done wrong and seek his forgiveness, and maybe he'll let him be a servant. But, the illustration of God represented by the father, he's watching the horizon, sees him afar off, and runs to him. And doesn't just make him a servant, but puts that ring on his finger and that robe on his back and shoes on his feet, signifying he fully restored him as his own child.
Right. Restored him. I'm looking here, Luke chapter 15, verse 24. After that happened, what you just said, he saw him, he ran to him, He told the servants, get the best robe, put it on him, put a ring on his hand, shoes on his feet. We're going to eat. And in verse 24, he said, for this my son was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found. And then it says, and they began to be merry and celebrate, I guess, right after that. And so this is Jesus telling this story. It's really about the Father. But what is you touched on it, but we got a couple of minutes left. You touched on it earlier, but let's reiterate. Overall, Terry, this parable that Jesus is telling in Luke chapter 15 here, what is it actually about? What is he actually trying to get us to understand?
He's trying to help us to see that our God is a loving God who, through Christ, both invites the one who's prodigally lived and the one who's been faithful and thought they were good enough on their own by the older brother. And he invites us both into the family to celebrate his presence and his provision.
Mm. In other
Whether
words,
you fit into the prodigal living, I don't know which is more dangerous. Sometimes you find yourself in that hog pen, in that prodigal living, and at least you come to the end of yourself, which is a good place, because then you look up.
Yeah.
But then sometimes you're that older brother who's, faithfully done all the right religious actions.
Mm-hmm.
And that become more dangerous to you, because you really don't have a relationship with him. You're not enjoying his presence.
Right. Well, and then doesn't that border into then a discussion about works versus faith?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Interesting to me, though, the ending scene of the parable is the older brother who's been doing right all the time, who's offended by the grace shown to his brother. He's out on the porch, if you will. He's having, you ever heard the phrase, get mad and don't eat?
Yep.
He's got mad and he's not eating that fatted calf and enjoying the celebration. And yet the father loves him enough. Same way he ran to the prodigal brother, he loved the prideful brother enough to leave the party, come out on the porch, and tell the prideful brother, "Come on in and let's enjoy, let's celebrate."
Mm-hmm. Right. That last verse, verse
He's
30.
A loving father.
The verse. That's what you're talking about. Verse 32. The father went out to meet the son who was bitter, and said, "It was meet that we should make merry and be glad. For this thy brother was dead and is alive again, and was lost and is found." In other words, we need to celebrate this, and you do too. That's so good. Terry, thank you for that word today from a long distance away. I hope that your travels are safe and we
Thanks
get you
for the
back.
opportunity. We need to be reminded, no matter where we are, the Father invites us into the family.
Into the family. For those listening, that's Luke. I misspoke earlier. I said Mark. It is Luke chapter 15. And specifically in that chapter, verses 10 through 32, it is the story that we call the prodigal son. Terry's right. It's really about the father, and welcome him back in. Terry, appreciate you. Love you. Safe travels. See you soon.
Love you, Matt. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. What about that? Have you ever thought about that? We call it the story of the parable of the prodigal son. It's not about him as much as it is about the father. Let that soak and simmer this weekend. Think on that. Dwell on that. And we'll be back Monday. For Beaver, I'm Matt. All of us here on the show, have a safe weekend. We'll see you Monday. See ya!